Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld, which is on episode 20 or episode 8, known to be Sword Art Online War of Underworld Part 2, Now, this episode right here, wow, they literally went all out in this episode, and the way how it went, it was pretty tense. And I think there were some scenes that were omitted or cut out that certain people commented, but anyways, let's just get this started. We have to it that Kirito shows up, like he did in last week's episode at the ending, and then he ends up turning the two dragons into little babies and let them go with Alice, As for Asuna and Alice, Asuna uses the power of hers to create a staircase so they could get to the altar, And we have to it, of course, eventually as the episode continues on, the fight between Kirito and Gabriel is right there. Kirito and Gabriel end up asking each other, who are you, what are you, why you stand before me, that kind of thing. Gabriel uses the same technique on Kirito to try to get him to stay out of his way. It seems like he made him lifeless and was going to push him aside like no tomorrow. But we have to it that Kirito, thanks to Yujio's help or something, ends up fighting against his mind-controlling powers, and he ends up clashing against Gabriel. Gabriel and Kirito seem to be on par with each other, but in terms of darkness, experience, and possibly fighting capabilities, Gabriel seems to be a little bit more experienced, He later on manages to actually overpower Kirito in a certain way, and later on manages to transform into something that of a dark angel or possibly something like that. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but if you guys watch the episode, you'll get the idea. If you haven't, you'll just be confused as hell. That aside, Kirito, on the other hand, seems like to me he was at his limit and he was about to be possibly killed by Gabriel since he's going to take his souls and everything all together. But Kirito, using release recollection after he was put in the right spot, he therefore uses his sword of the... He ends up using his sword and blasts it through the entire world. Everyone gives their prayers, such as Shinon, Lifa, Datsuguha, and then everyone else who cares for Kirito as a friend, or they just love him without no remorse, They end up saying, you know what, we love the guy, we're going to give you our prayers kind of thing, and memories and recollection, and And we have to it, of course, eventually, Kirito, on the other hand, ends up using all those people's prayers or something and manages to imbue it into his own power, Eventually, he would entrap Gabriel in the Blue Rose Sword's ability in order to grab everyone's power, Eventually, we have to it that Kirito ends up entering, how you want to call it, super mode or god mode whatsoever. But we have to it that eventually that Kirito uses Starburst Stream and tries to damage Gabriel, and he was so close to doing so, but unfortunately, Gabriel will later on cut one of Kirito's arms off, but somehow Yujio's soul appears before Kirito, grabs his sword, and gives Kirito opening attack to kill him all, To kill him, I mean. Eventually, we have to it that Kirito will later on manages to actually slash Gabriel and destroy him. As for everyone who logged out, they are very concerned, especially Celica, Liz, they all tear up, As for everyone else, Suguha, Shinon wakes up, and as for Kirito, he ends up having to be okay and restored, but he ends up saying his goodbyes to Yujio, knowing that that was the last time he'll ever see of him since Yujio and Kirito gave their all to defeat Gabriel, Eventually, Kirito, on the other hand, goes to the altar, but unfortunately for him, he's unable to, maybe log out, and therefore ends up saying good luck to Alice, and he ends up apologizing to everyone, very badly, because knowing that he has to be stuck in there for 200 years, etc., and he ends up having tears coming down his eyes, and he ends up crying desperately in agony, mental agony, because he's going to have to spend 200 years all by himself alone and won't be able to get out, But the episode ends off with Asuna having to appear before him and says, hey, what's up? So it looks like to me, Alice manages to log out but tries to reach for him, but unfortunately, yeah. And you know, like I said, Asuna shows up at the end as she's the one decide not to log out and decide to stay with Kirito, knowing that like what the result's going to be, etc. You know, and preview next episode's called Beyond Time. You know, so I don't know what's really bound to happen to Kirito and Asuna next. I mean, they are unable to log out and they are pretty much stuck in there for 200 years. So I don't know how long is that in the real world gonna be, you know. But some people kind of spoiled me a bit about it may not be too long. But we'll have to see. I mean, like 200 years is a long time in the underworld, but compared to the real world, I mean, it all depends. I don't know how long it's gonna be for Kirito and Asuna, but one thing for sure is like knowing that they're stuck together and etc. Don't know how it's gonna go out for them, but we'll have to see. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Toot toot.